And we are live. Okay. Just checking, and everything is up and running. All right, sweet. So this is going to be a short video and some response video. So I'm here coding away, building stuff, and I'm watching Theo. So Theo is he's a let's call him an influencer in front-end development space. Good guy, good channel to watch. And I'm watching his channel, and he creates a video about a little bit of drama that's happening in the Twitterverse. Well, my connection is slow, and this drama is about engineers spending too much time documenting stuff and not enough building stuff. Even the title of the video is "Build First, Plan Second." And I watched the video, and the only thing that struck me is how many logical fallacies are in this video. Well, the video's not playing. I guess my connection issues here. Well, let's just put this to the side for a second. And what's happening in YouTube? Let's pause this. So I want to answer. I'm just getting rid of these ads here. Damn it. It's going to play the video. All right. There we go. All right, so there we go. So this is the tweet that started it all. And so many people chimed in on this tweet. And Theo did. And I want to respond to Theo's take because I like Theo. Like I said, he's a good guy. I watch his channel all the time. He produces good content. You learn so much from him. But I think his take is wrong. And since I'm not going to be coding much right now because there's business meetings ahead, I like to do a short response video to Theo, and maybe show a different perspective. Maybe not a perspective. Let's just maybe address some of these logical fallacies that I see in the video or hear in the video, and maybe let's go from that point of view. So maybe let's do a diagram here in Lucid Chart. So yeah, let's take it from that angle. Let's see if we can address this from a logical fallacy point of view. Because it feels like, first thing, they're choosing two options which are not that great by themselves, right? So let's do that. Let's start with the false dichotomy here. Yep, just spelled this correctly. All right. So logical fallacies. It'd be nice if we had a spell check in Lucid, right? All right. Sweet. So the first thing that I hear, which I'm not a big fan of, is this false dichotomy that keeps coming up, right? And the tweet starts with that, just two options there. Okay, so that's like the first thing that comes up, right? So right away, when the video starts, you present with these two options, and it's wrong, right? the argument here is that two options are mutually exclusive. It's either design docs or prototype builders, right? It just doesn't make sense to me, right? From engineering point of view. Where's my listed? So we just presented here with two options. Okay, so you either are on the design doc camp, design doc writers, or you are in the other camp, which is prototype builders, right? Let's call them that. So two options, and it's either one or the other, right? It's a crappy Boolean logic here, right? And that's not the reality of engineering. Like, reality is, you do both at the same time, right? This just kind of just ignores the nuance in software development practice. You do have to do both. You can't just do one or the other. It just doesn't make sense. Plus, there's a lot more. There's not just two options, right? So that's the first thing that struck me. Just kind of weird that this whole video is about this false dichotomy that this person here tweeted about, and everybody's chiming in. So that's the first thing I didn't like. It struck me as off. And there's another logical fallacy. It's just this kind of hasty generalization that happens, right? Okay. So when you watch the video, Theo goes into his kind of anecdotal evidence, about what happened in Twitch when he was working as a front developer. He talks about his personal experience, which is good. But these are just personal anecdotes, right? Personal experiences. And his personal experiences are a little bit biased here. And they kind of lead to this hasty generalization because he had bad experiences with bad managers, bad software development leaders. He kind of does this hasty generalization that, the design docs are harmful, right? So, which is inherently harmful, according to him in the video, right? So that's to me, that's not a bad take. You want to stay away from such generalizations. So again, it's not true in general. Okay. Anyway, so that's kind of another thing. We had obviously some, ad hominem attacks there, kind of poisoning the well. Let's put it as well. So, yeah. So we had some just kind of basic ad hominem, and or slash poisoning the well, right? Kind of this kind of logical fallacy as well. So there's lots of kind of personal attacks, character attacks that he goes after from project management people, engineers there, which again doesn't serve any purpose. So anyways, he's just kind of very dismissive, right? And kind of diverts attention from kind of the main issue here, which is this false dichotomy. Okay, it's a minor issue, but it just keeps coming up. I mean, the other thing that kind of struck me is the strawman arguments that he makes, right? So that's another one that keeps coming up there. Right. So that one, if you create this boogeyman of design docs, right? And this is your boogeyman here, and you keep arguing against this boogeyman, and like nothing else exists, it's a distraction, right? For example, when we do, civil engineering, we design things. We use CAD systems to visualize it, to see it, right, before we build it, right? You're not going to just build a bridge. It's too expensive. You might build a small bridge, but before you even do it, you want to, test it in in your CAD system, right? I use Onshape, for example. I like to play around there. So when I do any mechanical stuff, I'll probably just open up here. So when I kind of fiddle with mechanical engineering, stuff like that, I go and see it there, right? So I go to the design phase. Anyways, just log in. There we go. So for example here, right? So there you go. I'm designing this part, right? So, I'm building the documentation and building the POC at the same time, right? So, if I'm just going to hyper focus on this argument where, design docs are bad and prototypes are good, it just misses the point, right? There's again, a lot more of that's happening here, right? So it's just a weird strawman argument that, just points out that design docs are bad, but that's it. And it's a distraction, right? So anyway, so I found that to be off a bit as well. There's a couple other things that came up. We can talk about, kind of appeal to ridicule, for example. That's another thing that came up. Once you kind of get past, just, here, for example, when he's explaining his, what happened here, how the engineering docs or the engineers that designed the system without talking to users, all that stuff. So let me put on the board as well. So, that's another logical fallacy. Let's put on this side. This is just kind of, it's like ad hominem. It just appeal. What do I say? Appeal to ridicule. Right. Right. So he was very dismissive and mocking of, I think he called it shitty, useless docs. I think that's what he says, over and over again. But again, it's not like one or the other, right? You want to build the docs. Like we're in the middle of actually right now coding a POC. I was just fiddling with, building a script here that, I'm actually building and designing at the same time. This is just a bash script. Again, it's not one or the other. It's both, right? I'm documenting it. I'm writing the code. And it's like, it's weird to kind of ridicule people and, tell people they have shitty, useless docs. And if these docs are there to actually help them, aid them, right? In their, in their engineering efforts, right? So I found that it's like another kind of logical fallacy that came up here. I should make this a bit bigger here. People can see it. I think the other thing is cherry picking, man. He cherry picked specifically. Let me move things around here. So I think that's the last one I think that comes to mind for me. It's just cherry picking his anecdotal evidence. So, cherry picking. Okay. So that's another thing that came up. He cherry picked specific, anecdotal, experiences that he had in Twitch when he was developing it, and he shared them. And can you learn something from his experience? Yeah, you can definitely learn something from his experience. But is that kind of broadly applicable? Probably not, right? So he didn't provide any counter examples to his cherry picks, right? He didn't provide, an example where somebody designed an amazing, database schema, thought about everything before it was implemented, for example, right? Because designing a database schema, while you're coding a database is awful. You want to do it ahead of time, right? Unless you're doing, for example, MongoDB, which is dump documents, which there's not much design there. But same thing for for GUI design, right? When I do front-end development, I like to have my design done. So I have to think about the CSS. I already have to code the React code the front end stuff, and on top, think about the design, move things around, right? So the worst thing that happens from a development point of view is that you don't have a design. You start coding, you don't have those design docs, and you start fiddling with with placement of things. You're fiddling with colors, right? So it's nice to have that engineering aspect done, kind of on a lean UX design type of thing. But at least in lean UX, you also want to have a little bit of a design, how the GUI UX should look. Maybe more of a UI than UX, but at least the UI should be done. The color scheme selected, right? So that's a design doc, right? So again, it just misses the point, right? So like I said, I like Theo. I follow him. I use some of these products, man. But when you make so many logical fallacies. It's difficult to not to say anything because it just, I don't know, it just sounds off, right? And people piling on this guy here, the tweet here that, whatever the person was here that tweeted this initially, um, Vic, and you know, and basically patting him in the back like it's some sort of a, I don't know, like a well of wisdom here that there's only two options and you better pick one. You better just be building shit and releasing shit. It just doesn't make sense, right? It's weird, man. It's weird from an engineering point of view, right? Anyways, that's all I want to share today because again, my today is a busy day, so I started coding, but I gotta jump to business meetings and probably come back in the evening and finish off some of the link flow. Well, whatever I get done. Anyways, this is my response to Theo. I think we gotta be careful when we communicate some of these things, especially to younger engineers, junior developers, software developers, also just engineers in general, you mechanical civil engineers, and not to fall into these kind of false dichotomies where we only see two options and we attack one option, the strawman argument, and then we just run with it, right? It's just weird, man. I mean, you have to take a holistic approach to these things. There's nothing wrong with writing dogs. There's nothing wrong with prototype builders or building prototypes. It's actually, that's both are part of this engineering discipline. You have to do both, right? Not more than the other. Anyways, I'll end it here. Maybe that's going to be helpful to somebody. Maybe not. It's just my response to Theo. Later, guys. Bye.